You know when you wake up, scroll through the news, and suddenly something feels off? Like, wait a second, this doesn't look like the usual morning headlines. That's exactly what's happening right now in Washington, D.C. At first glance, you'd think it's just another regular day in the nation's capital. Tourists snapping pictures, workers rushing into Union Station, the usual buzz of the city. But then, you notice something unusual. The streets don't look the same. The vibe isn't the same. And no, I'm not talking about traffic. Imagine you're walking past the city's most famous landmarks, and instead of the usual crowd of commuters, you spot armored vehicles parked casually near the sidewalks. Soldiers in uniform scattered in groups, standing watch. Not your regular cops. These guys look like they were pulled straight from a battlefield. And here's the thing, they're not just passing through. They've been deployed. Now you might be wondering, deployed for what? Did something go down? Is this some kind of drill? That's what a lot of people in DC are asking too. Because behind all this, there's a bigger story unfolding. One that didn't just happen overnight. Last week, the president held a press conference and called it Liberation Day. His words, not mine. Liberation from what? Well, according to him, from crime in the Capitol. Sounds like a bold move, right? But here's the twist. It wasn't just a speech. It came with orders. Real ones. The D.C. Police Department, usually under the city's control, was suddenly put under direct federal command. Just like that. Imagine waking up one day and finding out your local police no longer report to your mayor, but to the White House instead. That's exactly what went down. And then it escalated. National Guard troops began rolling into the city. At first, just over 100, then hundreds more. And now, the numbers keep climbing. South Carolina, West Virginia, even Ohio, states far from D.C., are sending in their Guard members and military police. Picture that for a second. Your capital city, filled not just with tourists and politicians, but with boots on the ground from states hundreds of miles away. The White House says, don't worry, they're not armed yet. Notice that word, yet, meaning they could be. And while officials insist this is all about crime prevention, the actual crime stats, they don't show any sudden surge. In fact, crime was already trending down before all of this started, which makes a lot of people ask the obvious question, why now? But the story doesn't stop at soldiers and tanks. There's another layer that's got residents uneasy. Federal immigration teams are suddenly active across the city. Arrest numbers are stacking up. Over 240 people detained since the operation began, most of them undocumented immigrants. And that's just the official count. If you thought that was enough tension for one city, think again. Homeless encampments, the tents scattered across parts of D.C., are being cleared out. Some residents say they were given just days to move. Local officials are scrambling to find shelter space, but no one seems sure where everyone will actually go. And in the middle of all this, lawsuits are flying. The city's attorney general is suing the federal government, calling the takeover flat out illegal. Meanwhile, protesters are taking to the streets, calling the whole thing an authoritarian move, an attempt to grab control of the Capitol. So here's what we're left with. A city under what looks and feels a lot like military occupation, even if the official line says otherwise. National Guard troops patrolling neighborhoods. Local police reporting up the federal chain. Immigration crackdowns sweeping the streets. Homeless communities being forced out. And residents asking the same haunting question. Is this really about safety, or is it about control? Whatever side you're on, one thing's crystal clear. Washington, D.C. doesn't look like the D.C. people woke up to just a couple weeks ago. Something has shifted, and the city may never be quite the same again.